sun peeks through the haze. Birds are chirping, serenading morning's praise. The front porch creaks as dreams fade away. America's awakened to a brand new day. Old vinyl spinning a sweet old tune. Day starts dancing under a sleepy moon. Loose print smudges on fingers of grace. America's awakened at her own steady pace. Sips of sunshine in a coffee cup. Simple moments lifting spirits up. From the mountains to the sandy shore. Morning in America, want just a little more. Neighbors waving with a friendly rise. Kids with backpacks chasing daylight skies. Eyes cooling on a windowsill so fine. America's awakened with a heart full of shine. Old vinyl spinning a sweet old tune. Day starts dancing under a sleepy moon. Newsprint smudges on fingers of grace. America's awakened at her own steady pace. Sips of sunshine in a coffee cup. Simple moments lifting spirits up. From the mountains to the sandy shore. Morning in America, want just a little more. Neighbors waving with a friendly rise. Kids with backpacks chasing daylight skies. Eyes cooling on a windowsill so fine. America's awakened with a heart full of shine. Neighbors waving with a friendly rise. Kids with backpacks chasing daylight skies. Eyes cooling on a windowsill so fine. America's awakened with a heart full of shine. Tractors rumble, fields coming alive. Big wheels turning where hopes and dreams strive. Laughter echoes down the old dirt road. America's awakened to lighten her load. America's awakened to lighten her load.
Good morning, good morning. Let's see. I see we have AVA in here. He was the first. Welcome. I've been watching a lot of his videos, trying to get his watch time up. So you guys should go check him out. He's got a very interesting story. I see Georgie, Bestie, she's in here. Belinda, Pam, Kathy, good morning. Victoria, good morning. Paul, good morning, Paul. Starzy, good morning. It is cold in here this morning. I'm gonna have to turn my heater on. I am cold. My coffee is brewing, so I will have to pull that up at some, or go get my coffee at some point. I am back home, as you guys can see. I was gone for a couple days. Was out in Sin City. I don't know if Georgie or AVA, if either of you want to join me this morning. You guys, if you have the link, just jump on in. If you need the link, let me know. Yeah, it's been it's been interesting the last couple days. I have not been as up on the news as what I was. I was relaxing, and it was very relaxing. It's good to get away every once in a while. I know Glory enjoyed it. She's on my bed. Yeah, she spent those several days on the bed in the hotel. She loves hotels. We're supposed to be going to a service dog event today. So I think we'll be going to that and waiting for the little man to wake up. TC for governor of Greenland. Yeah. It would be about the same climate as Minnesota. He's Scandinavian. They're, it's going back to his people. Okay, yeah. Do you have the link, or do you need it? Just let me know. Yeah. What time is? I do have it on my thing today. Uh, yep. Okay. Yep. I've got it on my thing. Live from Michigan. Okay. Nice. I went to school in Michigan. Went to Eastern. Uh, yeah. Um, these fires are still raging. They're nowhere near me. Everyone keeps asking me, "Are you okay?" I'm fine. Like, we haven't had easterly winds, so I haven't even smelled them. When it blows from when it blows to the east, uh, I can smell the fires. Uh, I Vegas was nice. I had to do a couple business things there, which was pretty good. Um, it's it, I remember in 2008, 2009, it really set Vegas back, and then about 2015, everything was back the way it should, and then COVID changed everything about Vegas, and it I'm noticing now they are finally getting out of that. Like, you still have people wearing masks, but you still get that, other places. Other than that, it's finally back to normal. Uh, I went to a buffet. Uh, they shut all those things down. And then when they came back, they were only doing the like the really expensive, trendy ones. And I mean, I'll go to that stuff. It's not always me. It's not always my scene. Um, hit the like button. Thank you. I appreciate that. Um, I did not go through the Cajon Pass. I went 40 to 95 through Railway Pass. And yeah, everything there was fine. Henderson, everyone, like, I've talked about moving to Nevada, and everyone's like, "Oh, move to Henderson." I will never move to Henderson. That was the only place where I experienced any traffic. And if you know me, I don't like traffic. No. I lived in the DC area, and then I moved out here to California. Yeah, me and traffic do not get along. Uh, oh, I did want to show this. If I can make it a little bit smaller so everyone can see it. This is just sick. This is what people do. Is this, yeah, New York Times. That's just that's just disgusting. It's just disgusting. F these people, man, who want to make this stuff. I just realized the overlay is still not up. There we go. There's the overlay. Cedar Fire came in Anatomy Land, a fire that was started from the desert and moved to the ocean. Um, I mean, that happens out here. You get the winds, they'll take it every which way. I don't have to keep fire insurance. I believe it or not, out here in the desert, I have to keep flood insurance because of flash flooding. Because when it rains, everything comes off the mountain and we'll just push stuff away. I'm at the top of the hill, so I'm okay. Most of my anxiety comes from being on the road. People call it road rage. I call it NID, PTSD. Yeah, it does. It does. Uh, yeah, it's it's pretty bad. Uh, People are reacting to my videos that I had going out the last couple days. The one was on Tim Kennedy, and I'm not a Tim Kennedy fan. I don't follow him. I don't watch him on stuff. I know people who do. And when the guy brought it to me and was like, "Hey, you need to check this out," he had said he was a SEAL. And I said that in my video, and apparently he's a Green Beret. And people watched my video, which was not about his service at all. Like, it was about his book where there's supposed lies. And everyone's like, he wasn't a SEAL, he was a Green Beret. And I'm like, yeah, I don't care. I don't care. It has nothing to do with what the point of the video is. And if that's your big thing, then you clearly didn't pay attention to the video. Cat and dog are running around. You can kind of see them. And this is the problem with veterans. They get way too hyper focused and want to call each other out on bullshit. And like, I don't care that I got it wrong. Like, if someone calls me a sailor or a soldier, like, I'll correct them, but I'm not like, I don't get pissy about it. I'll be like, no, actually, I was a Marine. You know, I understand there are people who one, don't give a shit, or people who just don't really know the difference, and that happens. Um, you know, um, it's not a big deal for me. Now, if someone comes over to me and is confrontational with me and they get it wrong, there I'm going to be a little bit more terse uh, in my corrections. Like I said, someone calling me, I've had people call me a jarhead to try to like get into my head and try to mess with me. Does not bother me. It does not bother me at all. Um, uh, but yeah, but let another Marine call me a devil dog, and I'm gonna be like, "Why you devil dogging me? Let's have a discussion about that." Because there, I know it's someone. Like in both instances, I know it's someone trying to insult me. But with a Marine calling another Marine that, they're also trying to talk down to you. Yeah, crayon eater. Like Marines, we own that shit. We're like, yeah, we we are clearly the dumbest branch. Oh, I've got to show. Hold on, I've got to save this and show it. And from this is from a movie that military, especially Marines, but yeah, the military we love. Um, Let me open it up. This is, oh my god. Here we go. Now, if you know the movie Idiocracy, it's about the future where everyone's dumber, and this is the president's cabinet, and they're all idiots. But yeah, this was posted into a veteran group, and that is the absolute truth. Like, oh, okay. Like, people bring you something and be like, oh yeah, we need your top people on it. It's like, okay, you realize my top people are ASVAB waivers, right? Uh, what's wrong with being a devil dog? Nothing. We do own that. We do own that moniker. However, when another Marine calls another Marine devil dog, they are talking down to him. It's That's what, like if you're outside of boot camp, but you're an instructor and you have a bunch of students, you'll say, "Hey, devil dogs," because you you're teaching them. Okay, so there's that. You know, one is over the other. I would never disrespect any of my superiors by saying, "Hey, devil dog." Like, if I did that, they would be like, "Wait, what the fuck did you just say?" Yeah, that's what it is. Go away, baiting. Yep. And when that movie came out, a year later, I was in Afghanistan, and it made its way around. And that whenever anyone would knock on your can at night, you'd yell, "Go away, Peyton!" And oh my God, we had fun. I'm gonna go get my coffee. Yeah, I'm gonna go grab my coffee. Where is my interesting? Hold on, I have to set something up. I don't get why this didn't. Yeah, I'll be right back. There we go. I might have to run back and forth a couple times because my carafe is dirty. So uh, I'll have to refill my coffee manually. What am I talking about? The entire Biden administration is idiots. Did you see? Oh my God! Hold on here. About the Biden administration, we'll get to this. I'll pull this up. Yeah, and Monday, Georgie and Coop, and I'll probably be on with them, are going to be doing the inauguration stream. Wood stove is burning. Ooh, I love having a wood stove. I grew up with one, and my parents used to keep it so hot, and I hated it. But then, when I could control how the wood stove, how hot it was, I loved it. The president was gaslighting people, and he got community noted. Here we go. This is insane. So, okay, they posted this and said they're saying that the 28th Amendment is the law of the land, the Equal Rights Amendment. Yeah, there is no Equal Rights Amendment. It when you create an amendment and it's going through its processes, you have to put on a timeline. And yeah, it was never ratified. So it's not the law. It contained a ratification deadline. The amendment was not ratified by the requisite number of states prior to that deadline. While some states have ratified the amendment post deadline, other states have revoked the ratification. It is not a law. It is not a law. And this is the president gaslighting you into thinking that it is a law. This is just disgusting. Like, this is disgusting. that you would have um, the president doing this. Yeah, it's pretty gross. Um, yeah, it is not. I'm trying to do some things here. I'm trying to customize this. There. Yeah, the fact that you have the president doing this is pretty gross. Like, he knows it's not a law, but yet they're trying to tell people it is. Like, there's enough things to be confused about with the laws of this nation. There's plenty of stuff. Like, it's. Oh, thank you for Paul for putting in. Yeah, please subscribe to the people whose links he's putting in. It's hard enough to follow the laws and to know the nuances of the laws. And then we have a president putting fake laws out there and telling people it's law of the land. No, it isn't. No, it isn't. And the Supreme Court will never enforce it. A federal court, you might get one judge who does, but the appeals court would be like, yeah, this is not a law. Monday, the world changes. I've been trying to get people to do some memes and have some memes ready. How good was Squid stuff yesterday? Squid and Georgie, they were on, and that was a great. I was listening in the car as I was driving, and they were talking about the motions. Now remember, for those of you who've been watching the What the Hales saga as it's played out there in Florida, and now it's in federal court, remember what I told you. Don't get so bent around the axle about motions. You're going to win some, you're going to lose some. All motions do, all they do is dictate how the trial goes. Jeremy was not able to add the Fleas and Bruce, and if you recall, I predicted that the judge would allow them. I think putting Bruce on there is the only, and that's what the judge really focused on. That's the only reason they didn't allow him to amend. But is it the end of the world? No. Jeremy's just going to file a separate lawsuit against them. Now, here's the thing where it's going to get complicated. When it gets into that lawsuit, there's going to be things where it's going to talk about this lawsuit. Now, if the federal court is smart, what they'll do is say, okay, these are related lawsuits. We're going to give them to the same judge. That happens quite a bit. In fact, that was all the liberals who talk about the assault weapons gun ban and how those are constitutional. They're not. What they did in the 90s is whenever someone would bring a gun lawsuit, there was this insurance lawsuit that had to deal with some guns. The federal judge in that would assume not the authority, but the jurisdiction over any lawsuit. So any lawsuit that challenged guns or the gun ban back in the 90s, this judge would be like, nope, that's related to this lawsuit. I'm taking it. And it was so he could squash all these lawsuits. Well, that judge eventually retired, and that was judicial activism. And that's why the assault weapons ban was never challenged back then. They're now under challenges today because that judge is no longer, everyone recognizes that was bullshit. So, that's why you're seeing all these very pro Second Amendment decisions now. And, that was just one judge trying to restrict everything. But it shows you the power of judges. But this magistrate should say, okay, this is a related lawsuit. When Jeremy files his new one, I'm going to take that one. Because there's issues and there's things that, there's history and stuff like that, it's hard to bring a judge and then later a jury up to speed on everything. So this is a way of kind of simplifying the process. And that magistrate should do that. I'm not saying it's going to happen. And if that does happen, a new federal judge will get in and will start looking at this evidence and these depositions and say, wait a second, these are different lawsuits. They should be combined. And that's where this motion will be important, because that's when got a hair or something. That's where that's where Randy then can say, Your Honor, we already made a motion on that and it was denied. So, that's this is how it then determines how the trial goes. So that's why don't get wrapped up about, oh, this one won this motion, this one lost this motion. All motions do is they just dictate the path that you go down. It has less to do about the end state. It actually has more to do with appeals than anything else. So, um, people out there, because people were out there like, oh, Jeremy lost. It's just emotion, dude. It is just emotion. What's more important is the judge signaled that the summary judgment would be denied and dismissals would be denied. This thing is not going away. This thing is going forward. That is the big thing about this. Jeremy will have to do a new case for those other 6 defendants. That's okay. That's okay. It doesn't really change anything. That new trial, new motions. In fact, if the Fleas and Bruce like this judge, it would be a mistake to have not allowed all them in on this, because you could get a judge who's not as good the next time around to your side. Georgie says this one was expected. It's not a loss, just means more lawsuits. It does mean more lawsuits. I don't know if it was expected. I actually did kind of expect him to add, but the sole reason he didn't was because of Bruce being the attorney. And I get it. Trust me, I get it. I'm not saying that the judge is wrong. I totally get why he's doing it. It doesn't really change anything for Jeremy. Yeah, it doesn't really change anything, other than that they could be arguing in front of another. Uh, they could be arguing in front of another judge, and that's when you start paying attention to these cases. And like I said, I follow most of the federal court cases. I follow are Second Amendment, and there's been a lot of Second Amendment wins here in the last week. A lot of them. Um, you know, you start learning how the courts operate and how judges, you know, think about things. And I'll tell you, I'm very impressed with this magistrate. I love this magistrate. I think he realizes this is very contentious and he's going to have to rule with a very heavy hand. And that's what you're seeing. And you're seeing that, like his footnotes. Here, maybe I can pull up the thing. I was laughing. I was dying laughing when I read his footnote. Like, the people who were like, "Oh, Jeremy lost." It's like, did you read that footnote? Just give me a second here. I'm gonna pull it up. I know who sent it to me. I just cannot. Okay. Okay. This is it. If you guys watched Squid's stream yesterday, or Squid and Georgie, you've seen this. Okay. So he dismissed the RICO stuff. Uh, that, I mean, okay. Uh, I think that can be brought again later. I believe it can. Especially once the other lawsuit gets filed. Okay. This footnote, yeah, I didn't really. It really doesn't do much other than everything about not adding them was all about Bruce Matzkin. Everything, like, had the Fleas should be thankful that the judge only focused on that. Gonna lick an airplane at an airport. You can come to the 29 Palms airport. I'm just looking to see. Oh, the Navy vet won $5 million against CNN. I'll pull up that story. I think I'll pull up that story and we'll talk about it. Because I felt that one a little bit. Right here. This was huge. There's a pending motion to dismiss filed by defendants regarding counts 3, 4, 5, and 6 of the complaint. There's also a pending motion for summary judgment filed by defendants regarding counts 1 and 2 of the complaint. For planning purposes, the parties advise the court is drafting a separate order that will grant the motion to dismiss with counts 3 and 4, but will deny it with respect to 5 and 6, with the business relationship counts. The parties are further advised that the court is drafting a separate order that will deny the motion for summary judgment. So there you go. The case against defendants Preston and Cook will be moving forward on the complainant's defamation claims, counts 1 and 2, and tortious interference claims, counts 5 and 6. And those are Jeremy's strongest charges. Like the RICO, I mean, it's there, but people could argue this case is not what RICO is for. And I think that's what the judges, even without, we'll see what he rules on it, but that's what I'm thinking. That, hey, this is not what RICO was intended for. But if John and Lynette are found guilty, and then in the separate case, the Fleas and everybody else are found guilty, then Jeremy would be able to bring that RICO, those back in another lawsuit. It's not just the Fleas, there's other people. I wouldn't say that they awakened the sleeping giant. That giant was already awake. Yeah, Jeremy's been smart on this for a while. But yeah, they okay, you got a favorable decision in a motion. The case is going on. You just saw that. It's going on. These people who act like, when it comes to motion, something's weird is going on with my camera. Whoa, come on. What is up? Hold on here. I might have to pull this out. Get out of there. Okay. Let's see. Let's see if this will be fixed now. What is going on? I hate this. There we go. Yeah, I don't know. Some of these cameras just act really weird. Sorry, I'm gonna get caught up. The gremlins are in Mike's camera. Yeah, I do you hear us? The RICO charges would have, if he had allowed yeah, absolutely, Roy. And here's the thing, that's what I'm saying. Like, he can bring those back after all these two lawsuits are done. Like, so, we won. Okay. Conspiracy Kitty is now on my desk, and he's trying to get attention from me. I don't know if Jeremy will. Jeremy's getting very fed up with people who are, dragging his good name through the dirt. I can tell you that for a fact. In my preparation of the video, I had to exchange emails with Jeremy, and that was very clear. Jeremy, he is not happy about these people charging him or accusing him of things that he's not doing. Okay. No one wants to see Kitty Tail this morning. Um, so yeah, like, will that come to that? Jeremy's willing to forgive quite a bit. I will say that he's got a lot of patience, and he will forgive quite a bit. But John German DM'd me again. This guy just, like, everyone can now see what a fool that he is, and he is not stopping. Like, yeah, he's doubling down on this, and I'm like, okay, now that's poking the bear and waking the sleeping giant. What John German is doing. Um, he, he's still out there telling people, "No, I've got proof. You're only seeing a portion of it." Okay, well then, post it. Show the world. He's not, because he all he has is accusations, and very light circumstantial evidence. He's had attorneys tell him they are not going to take his case. Legal experts are telling you no. This dog is tearing apart my bed. Kitty Tail's better than Georgie feet pics. Are you trying to start a fight in here, Dwayne? Good morning, Mussy. Well, yeah, it'll get to that. If they keep starting this stuff, it will get to that. Did you guys watch Jeremy's video? How nice were those condos? Like, if they're reasonably priced, I'd stay in them. In fact, we should probably, if someone can hire DJ Radis, maybe he can move into one and become a renter of Jeremy. But it goes back to what, and this is why I want to bring Jeremy on and us talk about business. Real estate is always a great investment. Jeremy, goes back to what he knows. He knows real estate, and yeah, I got a feeling that's going to be just a great investment for him. The slug saying, "And Georgie's feet is indeed terrible." Ooh, this is pick on Georgie day, I guess. It's a good thing she's here to defend herself. Let's see. She's probably dealing with the little ones. Everyone takes a risk when buying storage units. Yeah, they do. The bigger the risk, you sometimes get a bigger reward, but I didn't see anything worth that risk in that. Is that yet another way trying to get to Jeremy? Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. It is Song of Rain. They're just trying to get to him. But it I see we have people watching us on Rumble. I see Miss PJ in there. Thank you. I appreciate your comments. See, because Rumble, unlike YouTube, monetizes you right away. So when I see people in there in the Rumble, I know I'm like that money is building up. She timed him out. I see it, Slug go to the corner. Do I have to make Slug a mod? Yeah, he does have. He is envious of Jeremy. And here's the thing: we've seen Jeremy with other people starting off in storage units. He will help them. He will. There's more than enough storage units in the country for everyone to make money. There is. He will help them. I like this. I've got the power. I always hated that song in the 90s when it came out. Like, all these people who are nostalgic for the 90s, that is not me. If I'm nostalgic for anything, it was the 80s. The 90s were very full of themselves. And I just had a discussion, and you know what? Slug is, if Slug's still listening, this would be a good discussion with Slug. I believe that the American sitcom died in the 90s. It died with Friends. Friends, like, Friends sucked. Like, there were decent episodes, but all in all, Friends sucked. And so many sitcoms today are trying to be Friends. It's just like these drama shows, like Breaking Bad, like what's a drama show that's out there today? They're all trying to be The Sopranos. The Sopranos broke the mold. Like before The Sopranos, there were no shows like that, even on cable TV. Cable TV had some shows, but they were like, okay, like some of them were good, some of them sucked. Um, but they weren't like The Sopranos. The Sopranos was like, oh, we're gonna give you a realistic show as raw as we can. And that was what was great about the Sopranos. Breaking Bad was Sopranos light. And I know people love Breaking Bad. I didn't, because like the whole time I was watching, I'm like, it's trying to be the Sopranos, but they can't cuss, they can't show the nudity, they can't they can't deal with it as real. So, and trust me, I watched a full episode, or a full season of Breaking Bad, and I'm just like, yeah, no. Uh, when All in the Family came out, I freaked out because Edith reminded me exactly of my Aunt Josie. Yeah, like there was a lot of truth to it, and I didn't like Everyone Loves Raymond, but I did respect the show. And Ray Romano talked about this, and he was like, the first season was our lowest rated season. We did do okay, but we had to clear house of the writers of all the young people, because their ideas were, oh, I watched, um, their ideas were like, oh, I watched this show and they did an episode about this. Yeah, there you go. Conspiracy Kitty trying to get on camera. And he was like, yeah, they didn't have new ideas. They were just taking rehashed ideas from other shows. And he goes, we very quickly filled up the writer's room with all these middle aged men with families. And he goes, we would come into the writer's room, we'd start talking about our weekends, and they'd be like, yeah, I had to go to a family get together, and my sister in law did this. And they would be like, that's a show. That's a show. And that's why, like, even though I didn't like, it wasn't my favorite show, I could respect that they were doing real things. Like, it was real uh, family stuff. And I recognized that when it was on, way before I ever heard Ray Romano talk about it. But I could respect it, that it was that type of stuff. It was real people, real issues. Um, uh, Sitcoms died when they started trying to force the liberal agenda on people who weren't. Well, that was kind of like they tried it, but it didn't really take, with things like Murphy Brown and stuff like that. But Friends was the one that it really changed the way people operate. Like, instead of the sitcom being a reflection of us, people started trying to be a reflection of the sitcom. After Friends, coffee shops were starting to get popular, but that's when Starbucks became like a big thing, and everyone thought you had to sit at the coffee shop, and that's where your friends were. Um, I used to have an Airbnb. Hubby and I worked for a B&B business doing maintenance. Yeah, it's a good way to learn. Um, sorry, I'm just trying to get caught up there. Um, but yeah, with Friends, that's where you watch Friends. Everybody was sleeping with someone new every episode, and it was more about their uh, romantic relationships than anything. And and that was like very soap opera esque stuff. But Friends really was the one that kind of made that the sitcom type thing, and people just are in love with it still today. and I look at it and I'm like it, watch these shows that are funny, watch them without the laugh track, and you're not going to laugh at the jokes. Um, so that's I believe that it there were still sitcoms after that, but they were following the Friends model, and that's where I think the sitcom died. That's why everyone went to reality TV. Um, so yeah, sitcoms today suck. People aren't watching them. They're not. Some people might watch them. I would much rather watch the what's it the reruns. Uh, those older shows because they're just better. They're better written. We do not recognize the future American state of Canada. No, Greenland though. That'll be the 51st state. We're gonna buy Greenland. That's where we're gonna put all the. We're gonna deport everyone until we deport them again. They're all gonna go to Greenland first. Greenland is gonna get tacos, but yeah, and like I just finished the first season of Goliath, and I had watched that. Like I watched that a little bit during the pandemic. Um, and something about here recently, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna watch that. And again, it's one of those. It's following the Sopranos model in a very good way. Like when they're on Amazon, Netflix, HBO, Showtime, they can be as raw as they need to be, and that was the key about the Sopranos because it was more real. Uh, you know, mafia shows, on TV, on broadcast TV, where you can't do all the stuff. You're taking things away from it. You're and making it less real. But when you put it on these other, you know, platforms where you can cuss, you can show nudity, you can get as raw as you need with it. You're going to get an accurate depiction. Now, some places go overboard with it. That's true as well. But I liked Alice Kiss My Chris, and Linda Lavin just died last week from Alice. Um, yeah, South Park is the last show that exposes all sides equally. South Park is it's a shame they're not doing the weekly episodes anymore because it was very timely. And I get it. Uh Trey and Matt get burned out. So that's why they have other stuff they want to do. That's why they're now doing these mini movies slash 3-part episodes. Um so there's still South Park is still coming out. Just it's not going to be a week to week thing anymore. Mike's head is extremely shiny. It's the thing, the sun. Um, the big dog in the mafia was an old man wearing diapers in the White House. Uh, for me, the sitcom died with Married with Children before all the political correctness crap. True, true. And Married with Children is still funny today. If you watch it, like a lot of episodes still are funny. And for a while, people were trying to copy that. They were trying to copy that model, the absurdity. And people said, that Married with Children would kill the American sitcom, but it didn't because it was something. It was absurdist humor. Um, one of my favorite sitcoms is News Radio. Still to this day, I could watch an episode of News Radio and just laugh. And look at all the great people. You had Dave Foley, Joe Rogan, Phil Hartman, Andy Dick. Um, like Mara Tierney. I love that show, and it was fun and lighthearted, and didn't take itself too seriously. Cheers, exactly same way. Those two weren't absurdist, but it wasn't trying to be like the adequate every day. It wasn't trying to be like this is your life type of thing. Uh, what kind of wax do you use on your head? I do not use wax. I do have you do if you're gonna shave your head, you do have to put moisturizer on and lotion because if not, the skin will die and flake. Golden Girls. Yeah, I was never a Golden Girls fan, but I didn't hate it. It just, it was still that lighthearted type of thing. Um, I laugh about, in the 80s, they tried to do things with sitcoms, and that was the very special episode. NBC under Brandon Tartikoff was big on these. Uh, like, we're gonna do a very special episode of Punky Brewster, and you got to watch Punky Brewster um, freak out because they watched the Challenger explode. Like, they would do shit like that, or the very special episode of Facts of Life, where Blair fell asleep at the wheel. Like, they had these messages, and the pinnacle was Different Strokes of the bike shop owner molesting Dudley. Uh, you think that wouldn't be hilarious, but it's so unreal that this was on TV that today I'll rewatch it and be like, I can't believe they did this. I cannot believe they did this. They literally have an old white dude molesting a young black kid. Uh, it's a shame he's dead, because I'd be like, "What you talk about, Brandon Todikoff? Your very special episodes." Yeah, conspiracy kitty is he's trying to say that the government had messages for us. Alf. Do you guys remember Alf? Alf was this lighthearted show with Alf. He was he was an alien. He ate cats, by the way. Yeah, you would not like Alf. Um, and Alf uh died, or no, he didn't die in the last he they were they were abducted. Him and the family were abducted by the government in the last episode because they thought they were going to get another season, and Alf was getting ready to go home, and then yeah, government agents. LOL. I've heard of that. I've never watched it. Um. Oh, I've shown my son Abbott and Costello's Who's on First. Yeah, that's a classic. Uh, Blazing Saddles, edited for television. Why would you even like? Why would you even watch it? All the funny stuff is gone. Uh, that's Mork and Mindy. Yeah, that was a good show. I did enjoy Mork and Mindy. Uh, I didn't know this. Do you know, years after Taxi went off the air, Danny DeVito was still trying to get it picked up by HBO. How great would that have been had they picked it up? I don't think the will was there because Andy Kaufman was died, but you still had really funny characters like Christopher Lloyd. Uh, I'm trying to think of other shows. I didn't watch it when it was on, but I watched the reruns. Was Wings. USA used to put all those old sitcoms on during the day, and we would watch those and just die laughing. I was in college and I worked for the football team. We'd be in the equipment room just watching that stuff all over. Father Ted. I have seen episodes of Father Ted. Um, Bob Newhart shows. Newhart, like, I could watch any Bob Newhart. He was great for TV. Uh, Bewitched. Bewitched was a great one. Uh, Dukes of Hazard. Dukes of Hazard, though, became too formulaic. They weren't willing to take any type of veer off of any of the formula at all, which was a problem. And then also that season where they didn't sign Bo and Luke to a contract. I'm just sick of the joke. I mean, come Monday, Daddy's home. Daddy's home. Come Monday. All in the Family, like, the early season was good. When it got later and later, it became kind of boring. Um, I never got into Benson. I did watch Soap though. Soap I really enjoyed, and Benson was a character on that. But that was another one of those absurdist shows. But it was mocking soap operas, and yeah, you leaving? Bye. Now here's one thing I'm going to show you. Um, you look at today the top shows are like Yellowstone and Landman. Okay, Taylor Sheridan is making shows like that to a lot of success. And it all goes back in the early 70s. CBS had, I'm trying to think, they had Hee Haw, they had the Beverly Hillbillies, they had the Waltons, and like all these shows that were not New York or LA. It was middle America country, things. And they were huge. They were huge. And you're seeing that again. And it's like, yeah, because people don't relate to New York and LA. Like, that was one thing I didn't like about Goliath. Like, it's all this LA bullshit. And like, I'm 2 hours from LA. Like, LA is just exhausting. It's just exhausting. Um, but yeah, like, they need to get away from LA, New York. Boston Legal was okay. The Boston Legal was so strong because they had what's his name, uh, James Spader. I watched The Blacklist because of James Spader. Um, I don't like Landman. Yellowstone was good. I I I haven't gotten into Landman yet because I was waiting for the season to finish. I'll watch it now. I don't like waiting every week for a new episode. Just let me binge watch it. Check Messenger. I just sent you a news article. Pulling it up here. Let's share it and see. React to it real time. Doctor accused of sexual abuse by more than 200 former patients is indicted on rape charges. Okay, Dr. Derek Todd, grand jury in Massachusetts, indicted a doctor who was accused of sexually assaulting more than 200 former patients. Um, Unnecessary pelvic floor therapy, breast examinations, testicular examinations, other unwarranted procedures. Really? How did this guy go for so long? Um, at the Brigham and Women's Hospital in Boston. Anonymous complaints about him in April 2023 launched its own investigation, fired him in July. Okay. Interesting. That'll be a good case. That'll be a good case to follow. Um, show the world the beautiful creations I have given you. What beautiful creations? Oh, yeah. Petticoat Junction was another one of those. Green Acres, Beverly Hills, Billies. Those are still strong in reruns today. You realize that, right? Like, if they put those on, like, they get good ratings today. My parents still watch the Waltons, and I hate the Waltons. And I really was messing with my mom when I was home. She was watching the Waltons, and I'm like, "Do you ever watch this show and wonder which of these actors are in hospice today?" um, yeah, Dallas was a big show. Like, people will watch things they can relate to, and most people don't relate to Los Angeles and New York stuff. They'll relate to more New York than anything, but Los Angeles is this huge. Uh, okay, I'll show these. So this is the type of things that Slug sends me. So we got the expert as a lizard. Oh wait, wrong way. Gun hamster. Megan gun hamster. A bug. Uh, this is the type of shit I get during the day. Uh, sorry. MASH, I was never a MASH fan. Never was. Um, that's just like today, people will send me all these war shows and war movies to watch, and honestly, ever since Afghanistan, I, it's having been to the real thing, I get taken out of it. Little House on the Prairie. You know what? I didn't like Little House, but you know what show I loved, and I wish they would bring back is uh remember uh Highway to Heaven. So this is another thing. Um, on these old shows, there were old tropes that they would do. And the Noble Wanderer was one. Like it started with The Fugitive. That's the earliest show I can figure out that they did it. Uh, but it was done so many times. It was Incredible Hulk, Highway to Heaven. But it would be these shows where it would be someone and they're traveling around the U.S. and every week it was a different guest star, and they'd be helping them do something else. And then the season would have like this overarching arc. Like the fugitive was the one guy who was always trying to catch um, uh, what's his name in the show. In the Incredible Hulk, it was always the journalist trying to get pictures of the Hulk and prove that it was Dr. David Banner. So that would be what linked it together. And they used to do these shows all the time. I have not seen a show like that in years. And those were good at keeping things fresh because every week, like Quantum Leap was kind of like that. You know, that might be the last one that I saw. Quantum Leap, where it was like, yeah, new Love Boat was kind of like that. Yeah. But they would do this and it would be like you would have their cast, which normally was really small, but then they would bring in all these guest stars and stuff. And like Love Boat was great for the guest stars. Like I remember the one with what's his name? JJ Walker. I don't mind. At the height of his fame, he goes on Love Boat and plays a totally different character. That was essentially the same character. Uh uh and yeah, that's so they used to do this every week, and it kept things fresh. And I'm like, why have they not brought that back? Yeah, $6 Million Man was one of those. They should bring that back in some way. Find some way to bring that type of show back. I think that would be great because no one's doing it. They used to do it all the time. Um, I am keeping up on the time here. I am going to have to get going because I think we are going to the service dog event. Um, but yeah, I love talking about the A Team. Yeah, that was another one. Kung Fu with David Carradine was a miniseries, just like how V. I loved V, and they did bring back V, but then they ended it right in the middle of the storylines, and I hate when they do that. V would be one that would be good to do on HBO or Netflix. One of these ones where you can get really raw with it, um, and it would be much better. Um, Fantasy Island was a good one. Yeah, Airwolf, and you know what's funny is Airwolf, Quantum Leap, Magnum PI. I had David Belisario on the show. He did an interview with us in the very early days, and it was a great interview. He actually had a interaction while he was still in the Marine Corps with Lee Harvey Oswald. So you guys should go back into my archives and take a look at that. That's a great one. I need to pull that one and put it on the Rumble. make sure you ship everyone to Squid. Is Squid going live? If she's going live, I'll do a thing and send everyone to her. V was great. Yeah. When they did the remake of V, I thought it was really good. Um, uh, like but they should have put it on HBO or something, to where you could like see the aliens eating people, stuff like that. Like really show attacks. Uh, you know, actually do the war. They won't bring them back because people nowadays are way too serious. I think if you brought those type of shows back, it doesn't have to be exactly those, but those type of shows, I think it would do well. Uh, you know, Spider-Man was kind of like that. Spider-Man Incredible Hulk. And I always said, look, if Marvel wanted to do its universe on the TV show, like they tried doing it with Agents of Shield, but it was not as good, but definitely doing that, like, the wandering, the noble wanderer, do that trope. It works out very well. And that's a good way to introduce characters then, into your franchises and stuff. Okay, there it is. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and start wrapping things up. Hill Street Blues. What every cop show today. That was the first, like they had cop shows like Barney Miller and stuff like that on before Hill Street Blues, but Hill Street Blues was the first one that made it real. Law and Order definitely like tried to take that and they, for many years they did a great job. Now they do NCIS and all these others and they suck. The original Law and Order was great. All the spin-offs I hate. Not as good. Not as good. Yeah, BTV, I do have that. I do watch that. Sanford and Son, funny show, like a little bit absurdist, but not too much. Battlestar Galactica, again, those ones, like Stargate was a good one. Those shows today do better on Netflix and stuff because they'll actually put the money into the CGI. In the heat of the night, yeah. So, all right, folks, I'm gonna start wrapping things up. I enjoyed this. I enjoyed talking a good show about talking about culture. So I'm gonna get going. You all have a great day, and as usual, thank you for being worth serving.
Coffee brewing as the sun peeks through the haze. Birds are chirping, serenading morning's praise. Front porch creaks as dreams fade away. America's awakened to a brand new day. Old vinyl spinning a sweet old tune. Day starts dancing under a sleepy moon. Loose print smudges on fingers of grace. America's awakened at her own steady pace. Sips of sunshine in a coffee cup. Simple moments lifting spirits up. From the mountains to the sandy shore. Morning in America, want just a little more. Neighbors waving with a friendly rise. Kids with backpacks chasing daylight skies. Eyes cooling on a windowsill so fine. America's awakened with a heart full of shine. Old vinyl spinning a sweet old tune. Day starts dancing under a sleepy moon. Newsprint smudges on fingers of grace. America's awakened at her own steady pace. Sips of sunshine in a coffee cup. Simple moments lifting spirits up. From the mountains to the sandy shore. Morning in America, wanting just a little more. Neighbors waving with a friendly rise. Kids Kids with backpacks chasing daylight skies, eyes cooling on a windowsill so fine. America's awaking with a heart full of shine. Neighbors waving with a friendly rise, kids with backpacks chasing daylight skies, eyes cooling on a windowsill so fine. America's awaking with a heart full of shine. Tractors rumble, fields coming alive, big wheels turning where hopes and dreams strive. Laughter echoes down the old dirt road. America's awaking to lighten her load. America's awaking to lighten her load.